Already on her path to destroy humanity, Morena Prado is the only son of Nasubi that didn't get her own Nen Beast. Today, let's rectify that. Hey guys, it's Ryugo here, and today we are going to uncover the secrets of Morena Prado, the illegitimate child of the Kakin Empire. Morena is already quite a threat with her intelligence, charisma, and unrelenting will, and at this point already having two powerful Nen abilities at her disposal, so why not give her a third? And be sure to watch the whole video to see how Morena's beast could end up bringing not only the destruction of the Kakin Empire, but of the whole world. But in order to discover what her beast would be, we first need to ask, who is Morena? Morena Prado is the second most important character in the Succession War, and just like her father, she prefers to be kept in the shadows. Ironically enough, Morena, despite not being a participant in the current war, her position she finds herself has everything to win in the Succession War. She has powerful abilities, a loyal army of Nen users, and even naturally gifted in Nen. Like seriously, if Morena would be a contestant, she would only be surpassed by Benjamin because of how organized he is, and possibly Tsuraynik because he's literally Nen Jesus. The one thing that could give her better odds is of course a Nen beast. Someone like Morena, of course, would have the most dangerous beast in the entire war. So today we are going to pretend that Morena would steal the jar, and because of that she would get her own beast. But to figure out what her beast's ability would be, we are going to analyze her the same way we did with her father. Because we don't have appearances to go on, I will not only look at her abilities and limitations, but also her appearances. But first, we need to follow a few rules. Number 1. The beast must reflect its user. Since Nen reflects the mind and the beast reflects its user, it's only natural that the beast would reflect their master. However, I need to clarify that the beast does not reflect the entirety of the character's mind, and it's only reflective of a crucial aspect of her personality. 2. The ability is not directly created for combat, or even for the Succession War. The Succession War is a battle that takes place in the shadows, so because Nen itself is based upon personality, there is a chance that the beast itself might not be even designed to win the war. And 3. The Nen beast doesn't necessarily have the same Nen type as its user. The Nen beasts seem to be independent from their user, so just because Morena is a specialist doesn't necessarily mean that the beast will have a specialist ability. With all of that in mind, let's analyze Morena's character. Morena was treated like shit during her life and thought that the Kakin Empire and humanity would never change, so she decided to end the whole world. Presenting herself as a very calm and elegant young woman, that's just a disguise. I can assure you she would love nothing more than to see everyone around her die a horrible death. That's the whole point of contagion after all. An ability that works like a disease and is especially designed to ensure the most death and chaos as possible, especially in a confined space such as the Black Whale. This, of course, reflects both her desires and her methods. Contagion is not just about killing people, it's about making people kill each other. This comes off as a more of deprived satisfaction, I believe. What else could be more satisfying than destroying humanity than make humanity destroy itself? So, with everything laid out, what would Morena's Nen Beast be? Like I said before, the beast isn't necessarily designed to succeed in the war, and being more of an expression of the princes themselves. Like Zhenglai, beast isn't designed to win the war, but is a god-level threat if he was to become king, reflecting his tendency to focus more on the future than the present. Just like your feet would become godlike once you hit the subscribe button and gets fed with immense amounts of original Hunter x Hunter content almost every week. Even with the hiatus, you can expect great and original content from me, so subscribe so you don't miss out. But back to the video, what I'm trying to say is that Morena's beast would probably be something that would not only try to kill the other princes, but humanity itself, because the aspect of Morena the beast would be based upon is her rage, her pure, unrelenting and uncontrollable rage. Let's start with her appearance. Here is how I picture the beast. It would look like a skinned woman, completely naked. Picture the god of torment from fear and hunger, like it would look like just being in contact with the air would be very painful for her, not helped by the fact that it always be scratching herself with painful and long sharp nails. Always hunched over and seeming like it's having a mental breakdown, its wide eyes would be simultaneously looking at nothing and everything at the same time. Just looking at the beast would be enough to make anyone feel uncomfortable, like looking at behind the mask that Morena puts forth and thinking her look at her true self, an entity that is made out of pure hatred and rage. This would reflect how Morena sees herself and how they treated her as nothing more than a piece of meat that is ready to go all out and kill everybody, which brings us to its limitations. I imagine that Morena wouldn't be really in control. I know the princes don't really control the beast, but this one is really uncontrollable. Its abilities activate whenever he feels like it, or more accurately, whenever it can't contain its rage anymore. It feeds out of Morena's rage and then contains it until it can't anymore. Imagine those really stressful days you sometimes have. You slept bad, you didn't eat enough nor drank enough water, and everyone seems to be on a mission to make you more stressed. And everything you want to do is just release that rage on everything you see. That's how the beast feels every time, every day. Her existence herself, it's torment. And being based upon rage means that no one is safe. Not her enemies, not her allies, not herself. Once the beast has decided to let loose, then it will try to unleash his abilities no matter what. Not even Morena is safe. But this is almost like a double-edged sword, because I imagine that limitation that lets the beast target both his allies and her own prince that it's supposed to protect would be enough to overrule the limitation that it can't directly attack the other princes. But what her uses to attack? This is where we come to her ability. The beast's ability would be called Blood Moon the Crimson Knight, an ability that draws both upon emission and manipulation. Once the beast explodes, it quickly releases a wall of NAND projectiles with 3 different types. Type 1 or level 1 is called New Moon, and once being hit, the targets are hit with a NAND curse that increases their level of stress while their inhibitors decrease, making them really prone to explode. The curse would expire rapidly if you were able to release that rage somehow. Otherwise, it is possible to contain it if you have a strong enough mind. This method takes quite some time, through maybe 60 minutes. Stepping up a notch, we have the max level. Level 3, the full Blood Moon. If you were to get hit by this ability, then it's over. Your stress and anger would be bigger than the World Tree, while your inhibitions would be lower than the standards for becoming a Shadow Beast. What I mean is that the victim would only see red, going on an uncontrollable killing spree against everything, friends, family, no one is safe. However, this state would also mean that you won't think too much, just doing whatever you can to release that uncontrolled rage you're feeling. Immediately, it wouldn't last too much, like maybe 20 to 30 minutes. But that's still half an hour that you're trying to kill everything you see. If you somehow not killed during the spree, then after you would just be feeling with this feeling of shame, asking yourself, how could I do this? Again, it's theoretically possible to resist the effect, but you would need an iron-clouded mind to resist it, like Netero might be the only person that could resist his effects through sheer discipline alone. That's how dangerous this ability is, but it's not the most dangerous yet. Because we still have one level to go, and this is the most rare, but also the deadliest. Level 2 is called the Red Eclipse, which would turn you into Morena herself. Let me explain. Morena is full of rage and hatred, and somehow managed to keep it in check until now. But what about someone that isn't capable of restraining himself? The Red Eclipse would mess with your levels of rage and inhibitions, where you would become a killing machine, but not enough to fluidly cloud your mind. In other words, it would bring out the worst of anyone who gets hit by it. Imagine the average NAND user being hit with it and being put in the same mental state that Gon was doing the Chimera Ant arc, and because you're still capable of rational thought, there is a chance of making a vow, just like Gon did. Now imagine if someone like Chrollo, Hisoka, Kurapika, or God forbid Meruem were to be caught in the eclipse. It would be world-ending. Because that's when rage is at its most dangerous, when you have enough rage to fool every decision you take, but not enough to cloud your decisions. And there is no time limit on this one, it's so carved in your heart that it won't pass with time. The only way to get rid of it is either to release it, get an exorcist, or die, and death might release the target, but it won't release the world. Because I left out a small detail. If Morena dies, the beast remains. Morena's desire is so strong, her hatred will only make the beast more powerful, because at the end of the day, there is not a single soul that desires the world to burn more than Morena Prudo. And this is the NAND beast I came up for Morena. So what do you think? Does it reflect her character? What about her abilities? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, now every Nasubi's son now has a NAND beast. I'm just glad that... What? What do you mean that's not the real Morena? Then who the fuck is that? I might have to talk to Nasubi to figure that one out. Good thing I already know all about his abilities, and you can learn about them too by clicking the video you see on screen. See you next week, everybody.